Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Tarot by Melissa, and today's reading is going to be answering the question, what is keeping you single and what is next in love for singles? So this was a topic that was requested by one of my subscribers. I'm really excited to dig into this video today. What I'm going to be doing for each group is looking into some of maybe the subconscious reasons why you might be single at this time. So this is going to be a great video for any of you that are looking for a little bit of self-reflection, a little bit of deeper insight into what could potentially be holding you back from connecting with a love interest. I'm also going to be looking at kind of what's ahead for you in love, just kind of a high-level overview, some guidance and advice for you as well. And I also will be channeling some time frames in this reading so you can get some insight into maybe what the next breakthrough in your love life is and when that's coming through for you. So let's go ahead and get into some disclaimers. Keep in mind this is a general reading, so some messages may apply specifically to you, others may not. If it doesn't feel like it fits your situation, simply release it and let it go. It's likely not a message for you. Do not allow it to get you upset or bother you if it's not resonating. If you did want to book a personal reading, all the details on how you can do that will be linked in the description box down below. Personal readings are always a great way to get a more specific and accurate read on your own personal situation. So let's go ahead and get into our pile selection. We're working with 3 piles for today's reading. For pile 1, we're working with this black Moonstone. We have Aqua Obsidian for pile 2. And for pile 3, we have some Amethyst. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath. Think about why you might be single right now. Go ahead and select the pile or crystal you feel the most intuitively connected to. And once you've made your choice, scroll down to the description box to locate the timestamp that will take you to your pile selection. See you there? Hey pile 1, if you guys picked out the black Moonstone, this is going to be your reading where we're going to dive in and see what is potentially keeping you single at this time. Why are you single? What are some of the subconscious themes potentially happening for you? We're going to start with some pre-shuffled oracles and then we're going to get into the rest of the cards on camera. I'm also going to be channeling some insight into what's headed your way next in love as well as some time frames. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So for pile number 1, we start off with life purpose and love. Okay, so immediately what I'm getting from these cards is that pile 1, you are potentially single right now because there is this emphasis on focusing on the bigger picture of your life when it comes to love and romantic relationships. I feel like this group is really on path with their purpose, really being guided to align with their purpose if you're not feeling aligned already. And I think part of your purpose when it comes to romantic relationships is, or let me rephrase. I feel like what you guys are being guided to do at this time is to really evaluate what love means to you. What does it look like? What does it feel like? And how does it fit in with your greater purpose in your life? It feels like it's a lot more big picture themes that this group is moving through when it comes to love. And these big picture themes are potentially what is holding you back, or maybe not holding you back. I feel like this is not an energy of being held back. It's more of an energy of wanting to be sure that you are really in alignment with your purpose. And dating the wrong person or being in a committed relationship for a long time with the wrong person can sometimes distract us from the bigger picture, right? So it feels like very responsible energy to me, but let's continue and see what else comes through. So we have from the Love Block Oracle, we have demanding, and we also have sex only coming up. So demanding, you set impossible standards for your partner to meet, be less demanding, and then sex only. Either you or your partners only want sex, except that it's okay to reach for more. So I feel like for this group, in thinking about the bigger picture of your life and thinking about your life purpose, you may have There may be an energy present here of having really incredibly high standards for partners. Maybe expecting partners to be perfect, maybe expecting partners to look or be a certain way that you are picturing them in your head. And the truth of the matter is that nobody's going to be perfect. And, a lot of times the person that we end up being with is a little bit different than what we envision, right? So I think it's good to sort of check in with yourself and ask, are my standards realistic? Now, I'm not going to be ever the person to tell you to lower your standards because that's not what this is about, okay? It's more so about, are my standards possible, right? You set impossible standards for your partner to meet, be less demanding. So really reflect on dating situations from recent history or currently, previous romantic relationships, and ask yourself, were your standards possible? Because there's a difference between having standards and a basic level of respect, that we expect from a partner, and having impossible standards. It's interesting too with the sex only card coming up, because with it being next to love, I think this is why you guys might be single right now. I think part of the reason why you might be single is because during this time, again, there's a need to really reflect on what love means to you. And maybe some of you guys have dealt with partners where they only want physical intimacy, or maybe these relationships are really magnetized to you because of the chemistry that's involved. And I feel like this group is 100% wanting more than that. I feel intuitively for a lot of you guys that it's more so the partners that you're attracting in are more physically motivated here. But if you've been kind of engaging in that energy, or you feel like you've been duped because maybe you thought the chemistry was real love, but maybe it's not, maybe it hasn't turned out to be that way, I think that that's why this is showing up for you. So let's continue with some tarot cards next. So what else does pile 1 need to know about why they are currently single? Okay, we have a 9 of Wands, and then we have the Hermit card coming up here. I feel like some of the high standards energy that's coming through is coming from, I'm hearing lack energy. I feel like this group has maybe just dealt with people in the past, or maybe even currently, who just are not able to give you what you deserve, okay? Like the bare minimum. Because you see how this is such a barren wasteland here? The 9 of Wands also talks about, as the card mentions, trials and tribulations. It talks about kind of ongoing battles and stress that we're dealing with. And I feel like your way of protecting yourself in a lot of ways is to potentially to have really high standards. Because again, you guys are focused on the bigger picture. It does feel like responsible energy. You are focused on the bigger picture. There is this need to make sure that you're connecting with the right person that's really going to fit into your life and your life goals. Someone who's going in the same direction as you. But I think with the 9 of Wands, there may still be some healing that needs to happen for this group. The 9 of Wands can sometimes indicate a lack of trust in others. We feel paranoid. We feel anxious around them. We feel like we're looking over our shoulder. We're checking their social media. We're doing all these things that are really stressing us out because they're stressing us out for some reason. And so it might be worth checking in with yourself to see if maybe there's some additional healing that needs to happen. You guys also have the Hermit card here, which talks about soul searching. It's interesting you guys have 2 number 9s. I just realized both of those have the number 9. I definitely think that you all are really on the precipice of closing out a major cycle with those number 9s coming up. I think that this group probably has been in hermit mode for a while. If you haven't been, I think you're being guided to go within for a little while and just kind of detach from romantic relationships so that you can really go within and, again, really reflect and discover what true love should feel or mean to you. Because these types of surface level energies are really not it. And with the Hermit card, I do again feel like this group is looking for something that is a lot more substantive than just this surface level magnetic attraction type of stuff. So I definitely can see with the Hermit that there's a need to go within and reflect on what it is that you ultimately want and do some healing from stressors of the past. Let's look at our next couple of cards, and then we're going to get into what is ahead for you. So we have Retreat coming up again. So very much like echoing that Hermit energy. We also have It is safe for you to love. So I think that this group also, like going back to this Nine of Wands with It's safe for you to love, there's a guarded energy here. And I feel like that guarded energy is shown through this demanding energy. Now, I'm not saying that you guys are like demanding necessarily. The card says that, but that can be on a gradient. It could just mean, like we said, it's impossible standards or standards that aren't always realistic. But this says, open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. So there's a need here, again, to let the guard down a little bit and be more willing to open yourself up emotionally to someone. Not drop the standards. Let me be careful with my words, but like drop the impossible standards and, open up your heart. You notice how on the life purpose card, her heart is really open and full. I almost feel like through this group continuing to align on their life purpose outside of love and relationships, that you're going to just naturally end up aligning with your partner that you're supposed to be with, or the right type of partner in general. But yeah, we have It's time to disconnect from the world. So we have another message here that's like confirming that there's a need to, remove yourself from seeking romantic relationships. Maybe not. We have conflicting messages here because I know I was just talking about like getting back out there and opening yourself back up again. But I think before you'll be ready to do that, there is a need to disconnect a little bit here with the Hermit and with Retreat coming through, because there's healing that needs to happen around trust in relationships. And there's healing that needs to happen around being able to feel comfortable and safe to open up your heart again to new love. So let's see, pile number one, what is next? What are the next potential energies coming up in love for pile number one? And then we'll look into some time frames as well as some advice for you. Next potential energies for pile one in love. So we have family. We have travel. Beautiful energy. And we have single. Okay. You guys may be getting an unexpected message from someone here. I see that coming through. Yeah, I mean, it definitely seems like more of the focus for you guys this next phase in your love life is on themes around family, traveling, having fun, getting out there, exploring. I also am getting a message that for some of you, there may actually be a need to think about your upbringing and your childhood and reflect on how some of the things that you experienced in childhood are impacting some of these trust issues and standards that you're having, or how they're impacting the types of partner that you've been attracting in. It does look like you guys, there is a focus on family. So for some of you, healing those family issues may be the key here. But this could also just be about spending quality time with family, traveling, and focusing on being single for a little while. Let's see. So time frames of significance for pile one for their love life. Monday through Friday, which is basically saying this is a continuous effort of healing. I think this is also talking about focusing on the day-to-day of things. Ooh, let's get one more. We also have twilight. So this is like the evening. But I also think of like, I don't know if you guys have heard the expression about like whenever elderly people are in their twilight years, meaning it's like nearing the end of their life. And again, this is reaffirming that you all are really at the ending of a cycle here with your love life. And I think it's also reaffirming the need to detach, right? Being able to detach from this cycle, to go within, do the healing, the inner work that needs to happen so that you can feel prepared to put yourself back out there when you're ready to let your guard down a little bit more. So let's just grab one more message for pile 1. We're just going to look to see what advice, what chakra is being highlighted for you with your love life, and what advice do you have? We have be playful, beautiful energy. Look at this. You are safe and protected. So more energy about being safe. I think that it'll be really beneficial for this group to just have more fun in their life. Enjoy being single, enjoy traveling, have fun with your family if you can. And more importantly, go with the flow a little bit. I think it seems like there is a very serious energy centered around your dating life with the standards that you have and the life purpose energy, where it could be that you all are subconsciously putting a lot of weight and heavy energy onto dating, when dating should be a fun experience. Again, it doesn't mean that you don't have standards, but if you're not having fun getting to know someone or multiple people or whatever it is you're doing, then why would you even do it? You know what I mean? So I think approaching your love life in a more playful, fun way, approaching your life in a more playful, fun way every day, I think is something that would be really beneficial for this group. So group 1, I am going to go ahead and end the message here, but I would love to hear from you in the comments. What aspects do you feel resonated with the situation going on in your love life? So let me know. If you're not already, please do subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell so that you will be notified when I upload the next reading, and I'll see you there. Bye. Hey, pile 2, if you guys picked out the Aqua Obsidian, this is going to be your reading. So we're looking into what is potentially keeping you single, what's coming up next in love, when is that happening, and of course, guidance and advice. So let's go ahead and jump right in. We're going to start with these first 2 cards. And for you guys, we have the Divine Feminine and we have Forgiveness. So with the Divine Feminine coming up here, I think one of the reasons why this group is guided to be single right now is because you all are moving through a period of time of learning to trust in your intuition a little bit more. Divine Feminine energy is that energy of just being. It's that energy of knowing that, like, you don't have to show up and do a bunch of stuff. You know, you don't have to chase after anything. You can just be who you are and just be and just literally do nothing if you don't want to. Just receive love. Divine Feminine energy does talk about themes of nurturing. It talks about themes of being able to trust, being able to lean into your intuition to be able to make choices and decisions. And I feel like with the Forgiveness card popping up here, that there are certain situations that this group is really being guided to release and let go of right now. Forgiveness is, especially, it's really interesting in this card because if you see here in the text, it actually says, I forgive myself, I am forgiven. So I feel like for a lot of you, this is less about forgiving someone else or others, and it's more about forgiving self. It could be about others for some of you, but it definitely feels more like a self-focused energy of, you know, needing to release anything that you've been holding against yourself from the past. Maybe there were situations where you did not trust your intuition and you went forward with something and it ended up burning you, right? Maybe there were situations where you regret decisions that you made or you feel like you made a mistake. We all make mistakes. We're all learning in love, right? None of us is perfect. And so there is a need to forgive yourself for anything that you are feeling regretful of, anything that you're still holding on to. We have the energy of mixed signals coming up, and then we also have this energy of fated to be alone. Oh my goodness. So a little bit of negative attitude coming up here, pile 2 with that. These cards are on a gradient though. So sometimes they have very like extreme, like dramatic verbiage on them, but it's not necessarily that high of a degree of what your situation is. So this says you gave up on love because you think you're meant to be alone. It is not true. So there could be an energy here for some of you guys of kind of just giving up right now. Maybe feeling like, oh my gosh, there's no one out there for me. It's not the right fit, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't feel like this is true. Like there's someone for everyone, in my humble opinion. Of course, that's not facts, but that's what I feel. I mean, think about it, you guys. I bet everyone watching Pile 2 can think of an example of someone in their life where they're like, how are you in a relationship, but I'm not? You know what I mean? And that's because there truly is someone for everyone. So there is kind of this energy of maybe isolating yourself a little bit or slightly throwing in the towel on love. And we have mixed signals here, which is interesting. This says you don't let others know you're interested. Flirt and be approachable. So I think this group also is maybe struggling with expressing interest in others. Maybe you kind of watch someone, or like in this card, you can see that they're doing like a little, like a really obvious signal here, but maybe you guys throw out what you think are little signals that people aren't picking up on. You know what I mean? And going back to this divine feminine energy, it's not necessarily about waving a giant flag to someone saying, hey, I'm into you, whatever. It's about approachability of just being, right? You can still be in this divine feminine energy of like leaned back, not going after someone necessarily really aggressively, but you can embody an energy that feels approachable and welcoming for people to come up to you. You know, like if you're in a public place, maybe just start practicing, like you see someone you're attracted to, maybe practice holding eye contact with that person and smiling or something like that, you know? Little baby steps I think will be important in order to, you know, connect with others. And I do feel like this group probably has people that are interested in them. Like I am picking up on this because you guys are the divine feminine here. This is a very attractive energy, you know, that a lot of people will be magnetized to because you are beautiful and intelligent and confident in yourself. And this is the energy of being able to lean back and trust in your intuition. There will be a lot of people that are drawn to that. But I think that because maybe you're not coming across as the most approachable, it could be deterring people from coming up to you and wanting to talk to you. Like there's a little bit of closed off energy here. So let's continue. Let's pull some tarot cards. What else does pile number 2 need to know about why they are single? Okay. 2 of Swords. So interesting. Lots of messages of confirmation. Let's get one more. Knight of Cups. Yeah, I think with the 2 of Swords, there's like the blindfold is on, or there's like this closed off energy here. It's like, are you guys the type of person, like I relate to this, so like no judgment, but are you guys like the type of person where whenever you see someone that you're interested in, you just like pretend they don't exist? Because that's like the energy I'm getting here with the 2 of Swords. Like I feel like this group, it's like you might see someone you like, or you may have a crush on someone or have feelings for someone, but you just like pretend that that doesn't even exist. It's like an elephant in the room. You know, like I see people joking about this all the time on the internet, like on TikTok and stuff like that. Like when their crush walks by, they just don't even make eye contact or something. I feel like this is what's going on with this group. We also have the Knight of Cups here with romantic gesture. I feel like you guys want romance in your life. I feel like this group is ready. Genuinely, like based off the energy I'm seeing here, I do feel like this group is ready to receive love. I feel like the reason why you're single is more your own doing. You know what I mean? It's more of this like closed off, indecisive like energy that you're putting out to others. And maybe slight energy of clinging on to the past. For some of you, maybe there is sort of this like a past romance that you keep ruminating on here with the Knight of Cups. I'm not getting that for everyone though. I think this is just for a select few of you that picked pile 2. But I feel with this Knight of Cups that this is indicative of the fact that there is love right around you all the time. There are opportunities to connect with people all the time. But it might be up to you to find your own divine feminine way of letting people know that you're interested, because the Knight of Cups is about romantic expression. As the card says, it's about a romantic gesture, right? So there's a little bit of a vibe here of needing to put yourself out there a little bit more and be more decisive about what you want. We have love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. We have free yourself. It's time to take back control of your life. Yeah, I mean, it feels like you guys might have, maybe this group has been single for a long time. You know, maybe you've been kind of keeping yourself. See, you guys are literally like a magical unicorn with this divine feminine energy. We have the unicorn here, and you've been sequestered off in your cage for too long. And it's time for you to let yourself out of the cage, come out of hiding, and start allowing more romance, welcoming more romance into your life. We have your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. I feel with this group that maybe there have been some self-esteem issues that you've had to heal from in the past. And this card is so interesting to me because if we look at it, it's like we have this woman who's like clinging on to this masculine here, and the masculine is like 1 foot out the door. He's like trying to get away. And so maybe that's like the type of dynamic that you guys have experienced in your relationships in the past, where you feel like you haven't had your needs met, where you feel like you've been with partners who have been avoidant or who haven't, been really engaged with you on a deep level. And so there's been this energy of healing your self-respect, healing your self-esteem. And I do feel like this group does have a healthy self-esteem with this divine feminine energy coming up here. I do. I almost feel like your self-respect is so improved that, again, like you don't even realize how many people are attracted to you. So pile 2, we're going to look to see what's potentially next for you in love. But, to me, looking at this energy, I feel like the reason you're single is because of yourself. Like, I think that you guys are maybe subconsciously sending mixed signals and sort of deflecting any romantic attraction or any romantic energy from coming up to you. So what's next for pile 2, potentially in love? So we have the storm warning. We have healing. And we have ex-lover. Okay, so maybe there is a previous partner for some of you guys. We do have soulmate energy here at the bottom. The storm warning is really just echoing this message of listening to your intuition, you guys. Because the storm, like there's always signs or signals that a storm is coming. Especially like whenever we get tarot cards or oracle cards that talk about like a tsunami, for instance, like there's always signs that a tsunami is going to hit. Same thing with a storm. So what I see coming up for you is still very much a period of healing from maybe an ex-partner or a previous relationship, or if there hasn't been a recent ex, I feel like this energy is more so talking about past energy of needing to be like forgive yourself from the past, past experiences, past choices and decisions that you've made, but also continuing to trust, build that trust in your own intuition, that when you feel something is off, you're going to heed that warning. Let's take a look at some time frames of significance for this group, and then we're going to close it out with an advice message for you. All right, what's next in love for pile 2? We do have Aries season. So Aries season being highlighted as significant for this group. We also have release is needed. So yeah, continuing to release, free yourself. We do have 1 year from now at the bottom of the deck here. So Aries season being highlighted as significant to your love life this year. We also have release is needed. So there's definitely continued healing and forgiveness work, letting go of the past. that is needed here so that you guys can come out of your cage and feel really good about getting yourselves back out there. All right, so let's close this out, pile 2, with a chakra card for advice for you. Guidance or advice for group 2, please. We have spread kindness, heart chakra. This makes a lot of sense with that Knight of Cups and with your mixed signals. I think that this group, something that will really help you as you continue to navigate forward, is to open up your heart by spreading kindness to others. So give the romantic gesture if you feel guided to do so. Give someone a compliment. Say something nice. It doesn't necessarily even have to be related to romantic partnerships. This can just be like daily acts of kindness that you intentionally perform. Call a friend, tell them that you care, say hi to someone that you see all the time at the gym. I don't know, like random stuff, like just those little gestures I think will be really helpful in aiding you to open up your heart and be perceived as a little bit more friendly and approachable, because I do feel like this group is, but I feel that you're not necessarily doing yourself justice in order to be able to connect with new people, being in this sort of closed off energy. Like I almost feel like this group might be a little bit intimidating to the people that like them, But pile 2, this definitely looks like a really empowering reading. I would love to hear from you in the comments which aspects you feel resonate the most with your love life right now and what's been going on with you. So let me know. If you're not already, please do subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell so that you will be notified when I upload the next video, and I look forward to seeing you then. Bye. Hey, pile 3, if you guys picked out this amethyst, this will be your reading. So we're looking into what's potentially keeping you single at this time, what is potentially next for you in love with time frames, and then of course guidance and advice for you. And we're going to start off with looking at why are you single? So let's see what comes through. So we have the messages of emotional freedom and we have resolving conflict. So I feel like with this group, part of why you may be single at this time is having to do with the way you feel emotionally connected to your partners or other people, or your emotional sort of, what am I trying to say? Or your feelings about freedom when it comes to relationships. So for some of you guys with this emotional freedom card, I do feel that there is this energy of potentially feeling threatened by being tied down. Maybe this is a group where you feel sometimes kind of like you're in a cage if you're in a relationship, or you feel like really like dating someone can feel like you have a ball and chain attached to you. There are definitely people out there that struggle with this, where they feel like their freedom and independence is being threatened when they're in a relationship. And maybe this has come up for you and caused conflict in some of your relationships in the past, the recent past or the far past. I also think for some of you guys with the emotional freedom card coming up, this could also be talking about your need to be more emotionally independent in your relationships. So understanding that just because there might be a conflict or something about your partner there's like friction there, it doesn't mean that you have to allow yourself to be so emotionally like distraught and out of whack about it, if that makes sense. It definitely feels like there is conflict energy here, though, that is part of the reason why you're single. So I think for some, there's really for everyone who chose pile 3, I think that there's a need with resolving conflict to really think about how this emotional freedom issue has potentially caused conflict in relationships. Because if we look here at this card, what I see is somebody here who is sad, somebody who having their feelings hurt, someone who's kind of isolated themselves a little bit. And even though they're isolated and alone, they do want this connection here. You see how the hearts on their shirts are kind of drawn together. We've got one person here with open arms, one person here that's closed off and wanting love, but not knowing how to get it. It definitely feels like this group, maybe there have been some dynamics at play in your relationships where you've had one person who is more desiring that emotional freedom or distance, maybe more of that avoidant attachment style, where the other partner is more of that open arms, and this has caused some imbalances here. But I think the important thing to note with the resolving conflict card is to reflect on where the conflict is really coming from. Why is your partner upset? Why are you upset? You know, a lot of times the thing that we might be fighting over isn't actually the thing that we're upset about. It's more so about a deep need that we fear is not being met, right? So let's continue. Let's see what else we get. So we have walking away. You leave too quickly when things get challenging. Stay and try to work it out. We also have lust, not love. Passion isn't the same as lasting love. Don't get sucked in by good sex. Yeah, this is interesting energy, you guys. Very similar to what I was already saying. You guys, I think, are single because maybe there have been situations where you avoid the conflict. You avoid, maybe you're this person right here that's kind of avoiding the conflict, yet wanting that love and connection, but not knowing how to seek it out without feeling like your freedom is being threatened. So there's definitely an energy here that's guiding you to try to not run, try to stay and stick through problems with someone. Working on that conflict resolution skill. And it's not easy. Conflict is never easy. There's also here a need to really ask yourselves, are the types of people that you are connecting with really lasting, loving type of partners? Because to the point of the card, the passion is not the same as lasting love. Chemistry is not the same as love. Just because you have chemistry with someone doesn't mean that they are meant to be your long-term partner. You can have chemistry with a lot of people, but not as many people are going to have the conflict resolution skills, the communication skills, the ability to stick by your side and work things through, the ability to be loyal, dependable, have the same life goals as you, right? There are a lot of other factors that come into play, and sometimes getting swept up in the passion, we can get confused that that's real love, but it's really not lasting. So let's see. What else for pile 3? Why is pile 3 single? We have the 9 of Pentacles. You guys are so independent. I love it. Whoop. We also have the 9 of Cups. Okay, major independent energy coming up here with both of those cards. So 9 of Pentacles, 9 of Cups. Both of these cards talk about independence, but they talk about independence in different ways. Our 9 of Pentacles talks about our material independence. Can I function on my own as a functioning member of society? Do I pay my bills? Do I indulge in luxury for myself? Am I self-sufficient? Do I require a lot of help? The 9 of Cups is more of that emotional independence, kind of talking back to this emotional freedom energy. Maybe for you guys, there's been this energy of feeling, for some of you, just really good with being single. You like being single. You like your independence. And I think when you're in that energy where you love your independence so much, it can be really empowering because you don't feel like you really need anyone. But I'm wondering if that's where this walking away energy is potentially coming in, where it's at the first sign of conflict, I'm not dealing with this. I'm fine being single. But I also wonder for some of you if this is more of this could be more of independence in an unhealthy way too. There is such a thing I've seen before where people just They don't want to ask for help. They don't want to, like, there are certain people out there that I've seen that they feel like being partnered or working together with someone, asking for help is sort of like admitting a weakness, if that makes sense. I don't know if that really pertains to everyone in this group, but it just seems like there's this overemphasis on being able to be independent of a partner. And I think that a lot of times that can create distance. It's like a distancing thing, right? Because that emotional freedom may be feeling threatened. We have stay optimistic about your love life. We have engagement. Your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. I kind of wonder for you guys, like, if when things start to escalate, if things start to feel like they're moving to a higher level of commitment, that's when things start to feel more scary or more threatening for you. That's when your independence starts to feel more threatened. I do also see some negative thinking here too with the stay optimistic about your love life. Positive thinking and faith will bring you romance. So I do feel there is, like, I keep being drawn to this man here who's sad and like kind of shut off and probably not thinking the best thoughts about a situation. There's a need for you all to be a little bit more looking on the bright side when it comes to love, looking for the positive. I think looking for the positive in your partners too. Like, for some reason with this card, I keep getting this energy of making assumptions, like making assumptions about what somebody meant, making assumptions about what someone's actions are interpreted as, instead of just asking the person directly and asking for that clarification, or being vulnerable and being willing to say, hey, when you said this or when you did this, this is how it made me feel. Is that really how you meant it? Or how did you mean that? You know, like, there's this energy I keep getting from this man that's, here feeling really sad, that a lot of the sadness could be caused by his own doing, his own negative thinking. And so I think it's going to be really important for this group to not only stay optimistic about your love life in general, but to look for the good in your partner. Don't always assume negative intent. Sure, there are going to be times where people have maybe negative intent or do like shitty things. But I think that in general, we want to assume positive intent from our partners. We don't want to assume that somebody is out for the worse for us or that somebody is wanting to take away our freedom. So this is very interesting, pile number 3. I don't think I've ever really had an energy like this come through in a reading. So let's see what is next for you in love, potentially. What's next for pile number 3 in love? What's next for pile 3 in love? We have finances. You guys are really like, yeah, with that 9 of Pentacles, focus on work. We have proposal. And we have the snake. Very interesting energy. Yeah, I definitely see an emphasis on work, career, finances. And there is a situation here that's moving to the next level for some of you guys. Proposal can literally mean proposal, like a proposal for engagement, but it can also be something ascending to a higher level of commitment. Okay. That's interesting that you guys have engagement twice here. So engagement is coming up a couple times. Serious relationships are popping up here a couple times for you. I feel like the snake is, first of all, it's so creepy. You guys hear me say this every time I use this deck. I feel like that snake card has been coming up so much in my readings for some of you guys, for some of the piles. And with us really discussing in this reading your need to feel free, I'm almost feeling like the snake energy is popping up here because it's showing us that there is still an opportunity to work on, let me rephrase. I think the snake is showing up here because those feelings of being restricted are going to pursue here coming into the near future around something that's moving to a higher level of commitment. Now, this may actually be referring to a specific person for some of you, because it does look like there is a specific relationship that's being highlighted here. But if it's not a specific person, I think that the snake is this general energy of like feeling suffocated. We're going to pull some advice cards for you in a second, but let's see. I think the other thing I want to say about the snake too, and this has come up for me in some of my readings with friends recently, but like snakes are not all bad, but snakes can also represent someone that we're connecting with that's not able to regulate their own emotions. Because a snake, if you guys think about a snake, it's a cold-blooded animal and it requires on an external heat source to regulate its body temperature, right? That's why people who own snakes have to have heat, like a heat lamp on the snake, or it dies. It gets too cold. So I wonder if part of the problem for some of you is that you are connecting with someone or connecting with people who really cannot regulate themselves. Maybe they are overly dependent on you. Maybe that's the type of partner that you've been attracting in for some. And I definitely see that persisting here in the near future. So let's look at the time frames for you guys so that you know what significant time frames to look out for with regard to your love life. We have releases needed. Okay, so this is the first message is like, don't even worry about a time frame. Okay, let's get one more. We also have during vacation and travel. Kind of interesting that we have a beach scene here too. So during vacation and travel, this could literally be when you're traveling, or literally be when you're taking a vacation, when you experience what's ahead. But I also think that this is another message confirming that release is needed, because I think of a vacation as taking a break from something. I think of travel as moving away from something or moving forward. So I feel like when it comes to time frames, I think you all are guided not to worry about time frames right now and to just focus on release and movement and progress in a sense. So let's see what advice we have for you with regard to this situation. Advice for pile 3. Reach your goal, solar plexus. So I think there's a need right now to really think about, first of all, confidence is being highlighted with solar plexus. And this is really giving the energy of keeping your eye on the ultimate goal, right? I don't know why, but for a lot of you guys, I feel like you're being guided to almost release love and romantic relationships right now, because with finances coming up here and the 9 of Pentacles, both of these cards being focused on independence right now, the feelings of feeling restricted in a relationship coming up, I think that you're being guided to focus on your own personal goals right now. Like there's something about your independence that's very important that's been coming through super clear in this reading today. And so I think that that's what Spirit is guiding you to focus on at this time. Because we have so many messages saying to release love and relationships right now. So pile 3, I think I'm going to go ahead and close it out there. I'm not feeling anything else coming through for you. But I'm definitely curious to hear from you what's been happening for you in love. So please drop me a comment. Let me know what your situation and what it is. If you're not already, please do subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell so that you will be notified when I update the next video. And I look forward to seeing you then. Bye.